Champions of Hero Wars, Zeus is on the field with intelligence you need to hear. Chapter 3 hides a resource trap that can quietly cripple your progression if you manage your stall coins the wrong way. I found the strategy that turns every purchase into an advantage. Here is what players are missing. Right after finishing Chapter 2, we headed into Chapter 3, the Ashen Trail of the Fall of the Veil event. This time, we needed 50 battle buffs, so we powered up and started our journey through Chapter 3. We began in the development shop. We already had 3 Alecto cards, and we also found Keras and Tenebris cards, so we bought them. After refreshing the shop a few times, we found Bruster and Umbra cards twice, and bought both copies as well. We were already running low on stall coins, so it was time for our first battle. Our opponent was Moloch. We almost lost Bruster, but Alecto jumped off Moloch and finished him off, securing the victory. We received 34 stall coins for the win and headed straight back to the development shop. There, we found Valdur and Echo, the Distortion Summoner Titan. We bought the single Echo card, then sold Keras because we can only use 5 Titans on our team. After refreshing the shop again and again, we found a single Bruster and Mort card. We bought Bruster and refreshed once more. This time, we found a single Valdur and Echo card, along with another Alecto card. We bought Valdur and Echo and pinned Alecto so we could grab it later. Then, it was time for another battle. Our opponents were Sigurd, Nova, Asherona, Pyro, Araji, and Ignis. It was a tough fight. We lost Bruster, Umbra, and Caligo to the 2 Dark Titans, but the enemy team was eventually obliterated in front of our 2 Totems and our strong lineup. Another 34 stall coins for the victory. Back to the development shop, we bought the pinned Alecto card and refreshed again. This time, we found Bruster, Umbra, and Caligo together, so we bought all 3. And once again, we were completely out of stall coins. Before our next battle, we pinned the Keras and Tenebris card with a 50% discount, saving it for later. This time, our opponents were Bruster, Rigel, Nova, Amon, and Mary. A strong lineup. We lost Valdur first, followed by Bruster. The enemy still had Bruster and Mary standing, but we also lost Tenebris. Thankfully, the enemy team fell shortly after, and we received 56 stall coins for the victory. We immediately bought the pinned Keras and Tenebris card, along with another single Alecto card. We sold Keras right away since we didn't need him, then refreshed the shop again. We found another Alecto card at a 50% discount for only 6 stall coins, so that was an easy buy. We also found a single Bruster card and bought that too. Another refresh gave us a single Alecto card and a Valdur card. We bought Valdur, then pinned Alecto, the discounted Keras and Tenebris card, and another Bruster card. Time for the next battle. Our opponents were Sigurd, Nova, Asherona, Pyro, Araji, and Hyperion. The fight continued, and we eventually lost Bruster. Umbra and Caligo were also nearly taken down by Araji, but thankfully, we won before things got any worse. Another 56 stall coins. Back in the development shop, we bought the pinned Keras and Tenebris card, followed by the single Bruster and Alecto cards. Then, of course, we sold Keras again. We refreshed the shop and found a double Bruster card at a 50% discount. We didn't even have to think about it, that was an obvious buy. We also found a single Valdur card at 50% off, so we grabbed that too. Once again, our stall coins were gone. One final refresh, and it was time for another battle. Our opponents were Bruster, Rigel, Moloch, Vulcan, and Ignis. After a while, we lost both Bruster and Valdur. Our totem triggered, and most of the enemy team immediately collapsed. But then we lost Alecto as well. Umbra fell next, leaving only Tenebris. And she finished the job. We received 80 stall coins for the victory. Back in the development shop, we found and bought a single Valdur card. After 2 more refreshes, we found a double Valdur card, and just like that, Valdur was maxed as well. We also found 2 double Tenebris cards, but we didn't have enough stall coins to buy both. So we bought one and pinned the other. Then we headed into the next battle. Our opponents were Sigurd, Moloch, 2 Vulcans, and Ignis. A very strong fire lineup, and they took down Bruster once again. Umbra fell shortly after. But it didn't matter for long. The enemy team collapsed quickly, and we earned another 80 stall coins. Back in the development shop, we bought the pinned double Tenebris card, and now she was maxed as well. We refreshed the shop a few more times and found a single Umbra card. Another few refreshes gave us a single Umbra card at a 50% discount, so we bought it immediately. After a few more refreshes, we found both a single Umbra card and a double Umbra card at a 50% discount for the same price. We only needed 2 cards, so the choice was obvious, we bought the double Umbra card. And now, all of our titans were maxed. That meant it was time to shift our focus towards skills. We refreshed the shop a few times, found Ice Age, and bought it. Before the next battle, we pinned a triple cycle skill with a 50% discount. We also added Ice Age to the Dark Totem before starting the fight. Our opponents this time were Bruster, Keras, Moloch, Vulcan, and Ignis. This time, we didn't lose Bruster, but we did lose Valdur. Thankfully, the battle ended pretty quickly with another victory. We received another 80 stall coins, and now it was time to prepare for the final battle. On top of that, we received 180 bonus stall coins because we hadn't lost any of our battles. We immediately bought the pinned triple cycle skill. Then we refreshed the shop and found another triple cycle for just 12 stall coins, so we bought it. Another refresh gave us another triple cycle, and we bought that one too. A few more refreshes later, we found Stardust and bought it. We kept refreshing and found another triple cycle. A few more refreshes gave us 2 triple cycles, and we bought both. More refreshing brought us Primal Zeal, which we bought as well. After a few more refreshes, we finally found another Ice Age card. 4 more refreshes later, we found both Triple Cycle and Ice Age again, so we bought both. We also had Primal Zeal on the same screen, so we grabbed that too. We kept refreshing and found one more Ice Age card. Another refresh gave us Primal Zeal, and then another one gave us an Ice Age card at a 50% discount, which we bought immediately. And just like that, we were out of stall coins. Time for the final battle. We added Stardust and Triple Cycle to the Distortion Totem, while Ice Age and Primal Zeal went on to the Dark Totem. Then, we started the final fight. It was intense. We lost Bruster first, but moments later, the entire enemy team collapsed instantly. Victory? And with that, we received our Chapter 3 rewards, 25,000 Titan Skin Stones, 20,000 Valor Coins, and 2 Sapphire Medallions. And that's Chapter 3 conquered, every Titan maxed, our skills upgraded, and our stall coins spent with a clear strategy. Let me know in the comments how your run went, and which skills or titans you prioritized. If this guide helped, hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for the next battle. Stay sharp, spend smart, and dominate the battlefield.